Coming up on Global Business, good start. China's top economic planner says China's economic growth has got off to a good start, laying a solid foundation for the rest of the year. And the Hainan Expo with healthcare consumption features as a new highlight at this year at the China International Consumer Products Expo. Optimistic outlook. The IMF predicts stable 3% growth, global economic growth for 2024, citing strong recovery indicators. From CGTN headquarters in Beijing, this is Global Business. I'm Lily Lu. China's top economic planner says the country's economic growth has got off to a good start and has laid a solid foundation for annual growth at a press briefing in Beijing on Wednesday. And this follows China's GDP growth of 5.3% year-on-year in the first quarter of 2024, beating market expectations. CGTN's Gao Wang has more.
China's economic structure continues to get optimized, with improved quality and efficiency, stable employment and prices, and generally improved market expectations. The message from China's top economic planner is clear.
持续加力做好建设现代化产业体系。
The National Development and Reform Commission will continue to intensify efforts to carry out key tasks such as building a modern industrial system, expanding domestic demand, comprehensively deepening reform, expanding high-level opening up, and promoting coordinated urban-rural development.
Official data shows that China's value-added industrial output went up 6.1% year-on-year in the first quarter of 2024. The service sector also registered accelerated growth, as service consumption contributed more than 55% to the economic growth during the period. Officials also addressed concern over the issuance of ultra-long special treasury bonds.
在支持领域方面呢？
In terms of support, the bank's focus will be on accelerating the realization of high-level self-reliance and self-strengthening in science and technology, promoting integrated urban-rural development, facilitating regional coordinated development, enhancing food and energy security capabilities, and other major tasks.
Officials also stress on fueling the growth of the private economy, the low-altitude economy, and promoting new quality productive forces. Official data shows the output of 3D printing equipment and service robots both saw double-digit growth in the first quarter of 2024. Thanks to the rapid growth of these emerging industries, officials say China's economic structure continues to get optimized. Gao, CGTN, Beijing.
The 2024 Zhongguancun Forum is scheduled to take place in Beijing, China from April the 25th to 29th. This year's forum is themed Innovating for a Better World. It will see top scientists and well-known innovation and entrepreneurship entities from about 100 countries and regions discuss new sci-tech and innovation trends that are steering the process of human civilization. The forum will hold 120 events, 60 sub-forums, and several competitions in cutting-edge field. It will also introduce a series of sci-tech innovation achievements.
This year's forum will focus on cutting-edge technology trends, including AI, life science, and carbon neutrality. The forum will invite hundreds of scientists, businessmen, and investors to hold discussions. It will serve as a platform for about 3,000 technology exchange and trading deals. The Zhongguancun Forum will bolster China's national strategy to become a frontline country for technology innovation. It will help stimulate innovation within enterprises and upgrading of various industries.
China's foreign ministry has said that Western accusations of overcapacity in China's electric vehicle and solar panel sectors are unfounded and are merely an excuse for trade protectionism. Spokesperson Lin Jian said the accusations will delay the global green transition.
The allegation that China's overcapacity floods the world market is not true. Trade protectionism founded on overcapacity will not make one better, but will only disrupt the stability and smoothness of industrial chains, delay the global green transition, and slow the development of emerging industries. China keeps an open mind on industrial cooperation and hopes countries that make such claims also keep an open attitude, uphold fair competition, contribute to an internationalized, market-oriented, and law-based business environment, and join China in win-win cooperation to promote more inclusiveness in economic globalization.
For more insights on China's manufacturing sector and its capacity, let's bring in Professor John Gong of the University of International Business and Economics. Hi there, Professor Gong. So what insights can you provide on the so-called overcapacity issue that's being accused by some Western countries on China? Do you see any evidence base for that?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Lily, for having me. I think I would just use one example to rebut this totally nonsensical notion of excess capacity. Just a few weeks ago, a new company entered into the automobile business. That's a very venerable Chinese company by the name of Xiaomi. It introduced its first car, which is a very nice car, SU7. The car, during this debut event, it sold 80,000 cars within 1 hour. 80,000 cars within 1 hour. Think about how many countries in the world that can sell 80,000 cars a year. Here in China, within 1 hour, 80,000 orders are placed. And against this information, how can we say that there is excess capacity? So total nonsense to me. I think the fact that the electric cars are still being sold and then the sales pace still increase very rapidly here in China as well as in overseas testifies to the fact that these cars are being sold. And what it means is that there's no excess capacity at all. So I think, I don't know where they're coming from. I think what Janet Yellen, when he said this in China, I think when she talked about electric cars, I think she is really talking to the auto workers in Michigan. There's not a single electric car, as far as I know, that has been sold in the United States, either from China or from Mexico. And why is she talking about this? I think it's all about presidential election politics. It's about Michigan. It's about Detroit. And she's just, and some other politicians in the United States are just singing the songs to the Democratic base in the state of Michigan.
Well, thank you very much. Great insights. And please stay with us for more discussions, Professor Gong, later on in the program. Chinese private companies are making strong progress selling products overseas. In the first 3 months of 2024, their trade with Africa went up by 12.8%. A recent delegation from Uganda visited Sichuan province in southwest China, seeing huge potential for further cooperation, especially in farming.
It is really impressive how to provide increased production, productivity. For example, this fisheries establishment for cold water fish is a very good innovation. We can export this technology, this knowledge, these skills of aquaculture production to Uganda through the framework of FAO.
Cooperation in terms of learning strategies for poverty reduction. This collaboration is quite special under the Source-to-Source Cooperation Program. For example, the hybrid can yield up to 10 metric tons per hectare. When you compare it to the varieties that we have in Uganda, at the moment the super variety, which yields between 3 to 4 metric tons per hectare. So you can see that the yields here is about double or 2.5 times.
The Asia Pacific's largest consumer products exhibition is back.
Over 4,000 global consumer brands converge
to showcase their latest and most unique products.
We're at the forefront of China's evolving consumer trends.
To show you how businesses are leveraging China's rapidly expanding consumer market for growth.
At the China International Consumer Products Expo.
The China International Consumer Products Expo is underway in the island province of Hainan. Today is day 5 of the 6-day event. The Hainan Expo is now open to the public for today and tomorrow. The organizers prepared 100,000 tickets for 21 each. Tourist products like Hainan Island, travel products, and intelligent translation machines attracted attention. There's also a sailing and yacht venue featuring 250 yachts from around the world, showing a lifestyle of leisure. The expo has demonstrated China's huge market potential at the first supply-demand matchmaking event of the expo. 60 companies from 12 countries and regions arrived at 92 agreements for future cooperation. The expo started on Saturday and will run until Thursday, and over 4,000 brands from 71 countries and regions have taken part. Mongolian companies and brands have been at the China International Consumer Products Expo every year since the event began. However, this is the first time the country has put together a national pavilion showcasing local treasures such as food, cashmere, yacht skin garments. Mongolia is aiming to captivate Chinese consumers. CGTN's Rangantuma has more.
Through the Mongolian Embassy, National Pavilion showcases products such as local food and beverage, Mongolian cashmere, and other garments made of wool and yak skin, as well as accessories. Mongolian companies and brands have been represented at the expo every year since the event first started in 2021. However, this time, many local brands are entering the Chinese market for the first time and looking to capitalize on country's robust online e-commerce platforms and consumer purchasing power. In 2023, Mongolian goods shipped to China amounted $13.8 billion, increasing by nearly 21% year-on-year, according to the Mongolian Customs General Administration. Last year, trade between Mongolia and China reached its high record of $16.6 billion. This was followed by a bilateral agreement to increase the volume of trade between the two countries to $20 billion in the coming years, including new ports for Mongolian exports to China. So why is the CICP important to Mongolia? Because it is one of the most important platforms to showcase and trade medium to high-end consumer products in China. The Mongolian government and entrepreneurs aim to offer a high-quality, luxury natural products such as wild sea buckthorn and other grassland produced to China's growing mid-land upper-income consumers. The country is also keen to leverage China's opening up policy and increase nation's export to its southern neighbor. 사랑과 tumur. CGTN Ulaanbaatar.
Moreover, European exhibitors and embassy officials in China have expressed hopes of further strengthening economic and trade cooperation through the Hainan Expo.
We're very excited to be here, and we're very nice to be joining the UK National Pavilion this time in order to expand our exchange with Chinese partners and have an exchange with consumers.
60 years is a long time, and over these past 60 years, the economic relationship between France and China has improved a lot. Has extended a lot, including this pavilion in the International Consumer Expo in Hainan, but also will be in the international import exhibition in Shanghai. Will be in the service exhibition in service fair in Beijing.
Next year, we will celebrate the 75-year of our bilateral relationship. This showcases also the place that China has for our economy, but also for our diplomatic relation. We are now this year celebrating the 10-year anniversary of these free trade agreements. This FTA will mean then it's going to bring more opportunities to Swiss companies on the Chinese market, but it goes both ways.
Now let's get more insights into the healthcare consumption as one of the highlights of this year's Hainan Expo. For that, let's bring back Professor Jiang Gong from UIBE. So what is your assessment of the digitalization of healthcare consumption? To what extent do you think science and technology innovation and sustainable development is influencing the development of healthcare consumption in China's market?
Yeah, I think this represents the next frontier of elevating consumption level. I think there are going to be a lot of innovations and new technologies being introduced in this sector. I think overall, we have already solved the problem of, feeding our mouth and living comfortably here in China. We've solved the problem of transportation. We have the best transportation infrastructure in the world. We've solved the problem of traveling and vacationing and going abroad. I think the next frontier where the money is going to be spent is really going to be in healthcare. People want to live more comfortably. They want to live a healthy and quality of life and live longer for that matter. So I think people are willing to spend the money. The money is there, and the supply side just has to step up and come up with better products, quality products, driven by innovation and new technologies.
Well, great insights. Thank you so much, Professor Zhang Gong. Please stay with us for more discussions. And this year's expo features a wide range of new products related to sleep and fitness, with a health-conscious younger generation emerging as China's new spending force, where the market potential is substantial.
Going to the gym can now be considered an outdoor activity. A homegrown sports brand is transforming your regular gym equipment into a smart device, allowing you to customize your training sessions and share workout data with neighbors.
We aim to create outdoor gyms suitable for various residential communities and parks. By digitalizing and upgrading the sports equipment, we're trying to meet the growing demand for guided exercise.
Quality sleep is another unyielding demand and a priority for health-conscious young people in China, who are oftentimes sleep-deprived. A Shenzhen-based high-tech company, AirNutri, specializes in sleep machine development. Their sleeping booth evaluates sleep quality by monitoring brain waves.
The sleeping booth is picking up the signals of the brain's electrical activity in real time. Within minutes, you can see here the brain waves start to slow down as one enters the sleep mode.
This year's Consumer Products Expo showcases cutting-edge medical technology, equipment, and drugs not yet available elsewhere in China. Numerous international companies are looking to tap into this vast market opportunity. With 1 in 14 Chinese showing up at the gym regularly, and over 83% of those spending more than 1,000 yuan on health products being under the age 35. The potential of a rapidly growing health market in China is attainable. Wang Ke, CGTN.
And still to come here on Global Business. Optimistic outlook. The IMF predicts a stable 3% global economic growth for 2024, citing strong recovery indicators.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global Business. Only on CGTN.
The International Monetary Fund has upgraded its forecast of global growth in 2024 to 3.2%. That is 0.1 percentage points higher than its projection in January. Jim Spellman reports.
The global economy is holding steady and inflation is dropping, with no sign of a recession in sight. That, according to the IMF's World Economic Outlook, which estimates global growth in 2024 and 2025 will maintain the current rate of 3.2%.
Most indicators continue to point to a soft landing. Now, resilient growth and rapid disinflation are consistent with favorable supply developments, including the fading of energy price shocks and a striking rebound in labor supply, supported by strong immigration in many advanced economies.
The IMF estimates global inflation will continue to fall from the 2023 rate of 6.8% to 5.9% in 2024 and 4.5% in 2025. Central bank rate cuts are expected in the second half of 2024. But risks to the global economy remain, including from geopolitical tensions, uncertainty around upcoming elections, and the potential of a spike in inflation should central banks lower interest rates too quickly. And conflict in the Middle East could lead to a spike in energy prices, creating a drag on the global economy.
The increased inflation that would come from higher energy prices would trigger a response from central banks that would tighten interest rates in order to secure inflation coming back to target.
But opportunities are also growing in areas like artificial intelligence and green energy. Countries like China that are investing heavily in those sectors could benefit.
Green transition and the high-tech sectors present a great opportunity for China, and policies like evening the playing field between state-owned and private enterprises are going to help China capitalize on this great potential.
The IMF is encouraging leaders to use this relatively stable time to build safeguards against future turmoil.
Going forward, policymakers should prioritize measures that help preserve or even enhance the resilience of the global economy. A key priority is to rebuild fiscal buffers
to better weather unexpected challenges to the global economy. Jim Spellman, CGTN, Washington.
For more detailed analysis of the world economic outlook, let's bring back Professor Jiang Gong. Hello, Jiang. So the IMF showed in its latest Global Financial Stability Report that a sense of optimism has pervaded in financial markets in recent months. That is amid investor confidence that the fight against inflation is probably entering its last mile. Do you agree with the expectation that central banks will start to ease monetary policies?
I mostly agree, but I was the exception for the United States. Just the latest CPI number release shows a slight uptick, and I think the market sentiment about rate cut has been all dissipating right now. I think at least in the United States, the expectation is that interest rate cut is not going to come anytime soon, if at all, for the rest of the year. So I think, but overall, I think the battle over inflation is decidedly won, I would say. Whether over or not, that might be an open question. It may still take some time. The IMF report characterizes this as the last mile of fighting inflation. And I think that last mile varies across countries. Here in China, we actually never had any inflationary pressure at all. Actually, the opposite is happening right now. I mean, if you look at the latest statistics report from the National Statistics Bureau, it shows that China is actually having a deflationary problem. But across the Pacific, as I said, inflation is still quite high, and it's going to be some time before finally we're going to put inflation behind us for good.
Well, the report also warned of possible bumps on the road ahead. What do you think they are?
I think it mentions a couple of things, including geopolitical tensions and uncertainties, especially with respect to the prospect of the energy supply chain being disrupted by the conflicts in the Middle East. And I think this could be a black swan event if the current conflict involving Iran and Israel escalates into a much, much larger scale. And that's going to be a scary scene for the global economy. I think it also mentions, as I was reading through this report, it also mentions the risk posed by the real estate sector in China. It is calling for continued government measures to stabilize that sector. So I think, I speak for the economy here in China. I think overall, we are seeing a very rosy picture, at least, or at least the beginning of a rosy picture. But still, there are a couple of challenges, and the real estate sector being one of them.
Great insights. Thank you so much for being with us throughout the show. That's Professor Jiang Gong from the University of International Business and Economics. And during the 3-day Paris Book Fair, book lovers were able to find literature by writers from all over the world. And Chinese works stood out as they touched on topical themes like women's narratives, and as Chinese source material for Netflix hits continues to draw much attention.
From prose writers to philosophers, poets and dramatists, France's writers are internationally renowned, and the national love of literature was on show at this year's Paris Book Fair. It's a festival of culture and reading, with book signings and writing workshops. There are many different nationalities represented at the fair. One of the overseas stands celebrated Chinese literature. Author Ye Mi explained why she has focused her work on the story of women in China.
Because after China's reforms and opening up, women's economic status is improving and their awareness of their own independence is strengthening. Also, when I wrote this novel, I was going through menopause and I felt that I should write about a woman. This was a gift to myself.
Like France, China also has a rich literary tradition, from lyric poetry to drama and fiction. Some of the country's top authors were invited to the fair.
What is described in this novel is actually a very contemporary small village in China. It was originally a traditional farming village, and now it has become a cultural tourism type village. In small places, the changes in people's emotions, moral changes and changes in human nature between neighbors are very interesting.
The book fair does not just celebrate publications, but also the art of writing in French. Dictation is a classic elementary school test, and a mass spelling exercise took place as part of the 3-day event. Mixing politics and literature is common in France. Former President Nicolas Sarkozy, far-right figurehead Marine Le Pen, and the current finance minister Bruno Le Maire are just some of the politicians who are also published authors. Despite the popularity of podcasts and the success of e-books and audiobooks, the French are still committed consumers of stories told in hard copies. Ross Cullen, CGTN, Paris.
And with that, I'm closing now this edition of Global Business here on CGTN. Thanks for being with us. I'm Lily Lu in Beijing. Bye for now.